Use the sample data to find a multiple regression equation after eliminating unnecessary variables. So first, the scenario. Let's say we have some sample data of some Hollywood blockbuster movies. And so our dependent variable, the y variable, is the gross revenue in millions of dollars. Our three independent variables are length in minutes of the movies, viewer rating, and the budget in millions of dollars. And we're going to see if we can make a predictive model based on at least one of these variables. And we'll probably be knocking one of them out just because of it says eliminating unnecessary variables. So let's go through the steps to find the regression equation. As noted in a previous video in this series, we go to Tools and then Data Analysis. We're going to go to Regression and say OK with that. And then what are we going to choose? Our input Y data. Our Y data is the gross dollars in millions, millions of dollars. We choose all of that. And I'm going to click right now Labels because we are including the labels. And then the X range, we can choose all of those independent variables, including the labels. And we've got the labels. Output range, where do I want this output? I think I'll start it right up in F1. And then I click OK, and it gives us some summary output. And let's take a look at right away. Here's the couple of things that we're going to look at. We're going to look at the coefficients, but those actually come at the end after we eliminate a variable based on the p-value. So we have this p-value, these lists of p-values. And remember, a high p-value means that we don't reject the null. We fail to reject the null, and usually the null is that the coefficient is 0. So right here, this one doesn't look good for itself. It looks like this has a high p-value, saying it's very possible that this coefficient here, the length in minutes, this coefficient is could be 0. We're not sure, but it's very possible that this coefficient could be 0. This is just the coefficient based off the sample data. So what we're going to do is rerun the multiple regression after eliminating this length in minutes column. So right now I'm going to do it, and of course you can always rewind if you need to look at this again, but I'm going to eliminate this length in minutes column. And now we're going to do it with just these two, the viewer rating and budget in millions. And by the way, I could have done this without eliminating that. I could have just chosen this, but I wanted to make it very clear visually that we are eliminating that variable. So I'm going to go to Tools again, Data Analysis, Regression is what we're choosing. The Y range is still the same. The X range is, we're going to have to re-choose that because that's just B and C columns. So I've got that chosen. We do have the labels chosen. The output range, I'm going to change the output range to E1. Starting in E1. Click OK. It's going to overwrite it. Yes, that's what we want. Now, you might be asking, hey, why don't we just eliminate it right there and then just take the coefficients and we didn't have to rerun this? Well, the coefficients change if you take out one of the independent variables. So that's why we have to rerun this analysis. Okay, let's look at the p-values here. Looks pretty good. They look decent. Those are lower than 0.05. Then that would cause us to reject the null, saying that it looks like the coefficient is not 0. Either one of these coefficients should not be 0. So here's what's going to happen. We can use these coefficients then to to make a model. So I'm going to say y hat and y hat, which equals the gross revenue or the predicted revenue, equals, now it equals this coefficient. Let's highlight these. It equals this negative 295, that's the intercept, plus 48.8 is this first coefficient. And I'm going to, instead of putting x sub 1 for the variable, I'm just going to write in viewer rating. So we're very clear on what the variable is that we're multiplying by that coefficient. Plus the next coefficient, 1.3, I'm rounding here, 1.3 times the variable budget in millions. And I'll just put budget just because these are just notes to yourself to know what those variables stand for. So now what we've done is we've taken out that other variable, which was length in minutes, and then we reran the multiple regression to get this new multiple regression equation.